Fruit Basket, and today we are just going to kind of cover some of the most recent news in regards to two topics. Obviously, if you couldn't tell from the title and the thumbnail of the video, today we are going to be covering Pokemon Legends ZA. The official trailer has been released and we got some additional information about the game, and we will be talking about Daredevil Born Again, the most recent show in the MCU, and just kind of giving my thoughts about it. But we will be starting off with Pokemon Legends ZA. Now here I have the first look of the new game. We're just gonna kind of check it out and see the new changes, how it looks, the gameplay changes that have been announced, and kind of deciphering what could be the case going into this game in terms of story and stuff like that.
Pokemon Legends ZA is a new title in the Pokemon series. The story takes place in Lumio City, the largest city in the colony.
So it very much has like a Pokemon Scarlet and Violet sort of thing going on for it in terms of the art style. Also, Lumio City is the entire setting of the game. It's just going to be a very big setting, obviously. I'm surprised it's not the entire Kalos region, but it seems like this is going to be post X and Y, so it's not like the entire Kalos region is going to be like the same with Hisui, where a lot of it is just like land before Sinnoh and shit like that.
Kalos region. Prism Tower stands tall at the center of this city of beautiful vistas.
Okay.
These days, Lumios is undergoing a high-tech urban redevelopment plan to turn it into a city
like the
that
look of
people
the game. I don't know. I'm not like huge on like the new art style of like what they've been doing with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but the game looks pretty good.
Pokemon truly share. After you arrive in Lumio City to see the sights, you'll meet 3 Pokemon, one of which will become your first partner.
Yeah, we have our first official look at the starters, which is Chikorita, Tepig, and Totodile. I'm not sure how I feel about the 2 Johto starters. It's a bit weird. Like, I don't know. I wish they would have picked someone else, like, out of these 2. Like, I don't know. We'll probably get, like, regional variants for each of them. So I'm a little interested to see what Chikorita's could be, and same with Totodiles. But we could have gotten, like, Poplio or another one, or like Rowlet. Not Rowlet. Maybe like Sceptile. I don't know. I don't like the fact that they just went with 2 Johto starters and a Nova starter. I wish they would like make it different regions for each of them, but I don't know. I'll probably go with Tepig for my first choice when this game comes out.
Chikorita, Tepig, and Totodile. You'll choose one of these Pokemon to accompany you on a new journey as you get to know Lumio City and its inhabitants.
Okay.
Here are some of the colorful characters you'll
Now we got AZ in the game, and he's a hotel manager now.
encounter. When you arrive in Lumios, you'll meet a new friend and ally. Either Urbane.
Which character you will meet depend on the appearance you choose for yourself. Okay, so it's like, okay, so I guess if you are a male character, you'll get your Bane. If you're a female character, you get your Bane, or if you're a male character, you'll get whatever the fuck her name is. Tawny.
The hotel where you'll be staying is run by AZ.
He is huge.
You'll also meet his partner, Floette. Lumios' redevelopment is being managed by Quasartico Inc. You'll become acquainted
Okay, so I'm guessing this is supposed to be like the new Team Flare.
with the company's CEO Jet and her secretary Vinny. The different people
I mean, Team Flare, Quasar. Yeah, they're definitely the new Team Flare.
you meet will make your time in Lumios all the richer.
Like, this is the new Lumios. Not Lumios. Fucking, what's her name? The girl who ran the Aether Foundation, Lily's mom. I'm forgetting her name. Like, it's like, I like how every new bad guy in Pokemon now is just a rich business person. Just like
To
Chairman
help people
Rose.
and Pokemon coexist, The city has set up wild zones. These
Area wild
areas,
zones.
located throughout Lumios, give wild Pokémon habitats where they can thrive. To catch one of these wild Pokémon, aim carefully, then throw a Pokéball.
I do like how it's pretty different from Pokemon Legends Arceus. Like, I do like that they're kind of experimenting, being like, no, the Legends games aren't just going to be like going back in time or anything. Like, I like the idea of it like covering multiple time periods, even going like post XY, like a post core series game. Like, essentially, this is kind of a sequel to X and Y, and it's in a Legends format, and I think that's pretty cool.
If you're having a hard time catching one, have one of your Pokémon use its moves to weaken the target, making it easier to catch.
Can you? You can like deplete its health entirely, and it'll just get dizzy. It's like in the show. That's cool. Cause it didn't show like a sliver of red when like it hit it. Like, look.
Have one of your Pokémon use its moves to weaken the target,
Yeah, it
making
depletes it entirely, and then it just kind of, you know, gets the swirly little stars.
easier to catch.
That's cool.
This game offers a style of Pokémon battling not seen in previous titles. Moves
you
can
can
have a
move.
longer or shorter reach, or different areas of effect.
I really like this. This is gonna be really cool. I highly doubt they're gonna add this to like a main series. I mean, with Pokemon Legends Arceus, it has a different sort of battle style too, even though it's still pretty similar. But the fact that they're really changing it up with this one, I really like it. I like how the Legends series allows them to experiment a bit more.
So choose your timing and positioning carefully to gain the upper hand. Lead your partner Pokémon through battles and dodge incoming attacks. Swap Pokémon if you need to and find the right moment to unleash a move. What's more, certain Pokémon can go beyond evolution by undergoing
And seemingly we haven't gotten any new Mega Evolutions, or at least a look at one yet.
Mega Evolution.
It kind of stinks.
When a trainer's keystone resonates with the Mega Stone held by their Pokémon, the Pokémon will do more than just change shape. It'll unlock a new level of power, turning the tide of battle in its favor. As Lumios continues its transformation into a city that belongs to both people and Pokémon, who knows what kinds of encounters
I do wonder if they're gonna add any like Pokemon from later gens into this. I mean, I feel like they would have to.
experiences will await you.
I mean, Braviary, like a different regional form of Braviary, but Braviary was still in Legends Arceus.
Pokémon Legends ZA,
Yeah, we
Coming
haven't
late
gotten an official date yet.
2025.
And this was also a little scene that came through with like the original trailer too, but I have no idea what it's referring to. Like, I have no idea what that's referring to. And obviously this isn't the true trailer. This is more like them just going in depth into some of the new stuff, or some of just like the baseline shit for the game. But I think I was honestly pretty disappointed with the trailer, because it felt like we really didn't get like, except for like the new battle mechanics, it doesn't really feel like we're getting that much. Like, they didn't really hype up anything new, like no new regional variants, no new Pokemon or anything like that. I mean, even with Scarlet and Violet, it's not like they showed us the final Evos, but even still, I'd like to see those. Like, no new Mega Evolutions. I'm still hyped for this game. I think it looks good. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm pretty excited for it, to see where they're gonna go. Kalos was always kind of like one of those, like the X and Y games were always kind of one of those games that really never really went in on the lore that they tried to establish within the game that much. So it would be interesting to see what they can explore with this game. Because like, you have AZ, you have like Zygarde and stuff like that, that they just kind of left on the cutting room floor in terms of exploring the lore there. And I feel like this is the great opportunity to kind of go further with that. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a similar one with like Galar, because fucking Galar, like that game, Sword and Shield, though that story is just such dog shit, and because it's so rushed, because it's just so dumb, it just feels like they really rushed the story with that one. So who knows? I would like to see them kind of do this with that, but obviously we'll have to see how well this one does in terms of exploring, the story that was kind of left there with the Kalos region. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, other than that, I think it looks good. Tepic is probably gonna be my first choice to go with, mostly because I just like fire starters a lot more than like water and grass starters, anyways. So we'll just have to wait and see. But again, I would hope to see like maybe regional variants soon, like some of them, maybe some new megas, but we'll just have to wait and see. But moving on to Daredevil Born Again. Now I did not watch the show when it first dropped. I watched it probably like a day or two later. So I was aware of people's opinion on the show. I was aware of multiple people's opinions. I heard some people who were just kind of shitting on it altogether. I've seen some people who are just not praising it, but were just kind of like, I'm enjoying it. It's pretty good. So I wasn't going in with high expectations because I never found anyone who said like, oh, I love this. There were definitely scenes that people were hyping up that when I finally got to watch it, it was great. But I didn't see anybody loving this, and I was pretty stoked for it, so that was pretty disappointing to see that, there wasn't a general hype around the actual product of the show once it came out, outside of like probably the first 10 minutes. But when I sat down and watched it, those first 10 minutes are fucking great. And I'm a little upset that I was spoiled on it unintentionally. This was like one of those cases where I really wasn't looking to get spoiled, because sometimes when I'm just kind of behind the curve, if something gets released, like with Captain America Brave New World, I wasn't really planning on seeing it, so I didn't really care about being spoiled. But with Daredevil Born Again, since I didn't watch it the day it came out, I was kind of hopeful that I wouldn't get spoiled, but obviously that was a silly thing to think when I'm on the internet, because people just don't care. People really don't care. They just believe that everyone who ever, and they just believe that everyone like watches the show or something the day of release. But whatever. I did not care for being spoiled, but in terms of the scene itself, I really liked it. I like the opening with Bullseye. I hope he comes back later in the show, in some capacity. If that's all we see of him, then that's honestly pretty bad in my opinion. Just for him to show up and kill off a main character and then get rid of another one. I don't know exactly how I feel about the show as a whole, outside of those 10 minutes. Because it's not bad, but it doesn't hold my interest the same way the Netflix show did. It just doesn't. I just like nothing, like there's no character outside of Matt and Wilson that really piqued my interest until maybe Punisher shows up. But like none of the new characters, the new love interest, none of them hold my interest. And it's because they obviously just feel like Marvel Studios replacements, where they're just like, okay, well, we don't want to do Foggy, we want to do our own thing. We don't want to do Karen, we want to do our own character. I don't care. I don't care for Cherry. I don't care for Kirsten. That therapist chick that Matt's seen. I just don't care for them. And with Wilson, I do like what they're trying to do with him as like, him being the mayor and his I mean, I don't really care for his relationship issues with Vanessa, like at all. Like that's the thing. I feel like there's nothing in the show so far that is really piquing my interest the way that the Netflix show was able to do so throughout its entire run. Like to me, the lowest part of the in terms of the Netflix Daredevil series was probably the hand stuff they did in season 2, like during like the second half. To me, that was like one of those moments where it's like, okay, this is just set up for defenders, and I'm not that into it. But even that stuff that we got to me was a lot better than this show right here. And again, I don't think the show is bad. It's just it doesn't live up to the Netflix show. Hope that they're able to course correct for season 2, because we are getting a season 2 of the show. I hope they are able to add more elements in. And I don't know. To me, like, again, I don't even have a problem with them killing off Foggy, because I think it does serve Matt's story pretty well, and it is a very bold statement to make in this, like, unofficial 4th season. Honestly, like, to me, I feel like this definitely feels like a new show, but it's definitely, Daredevil season 4. I think it was a very bold statement for them to make, and I think that's a good idea to do, like, when you're essentially revamping the show, is to really swing for the fences right away. But I think it quickly moves on from that to trying to be its own thing. It almost feels like they just did that segment of it with Karen and Foggy just to be like, hey, here's the original cast, and now we're just gonna move on very swiftly afterwards. But like, I feel like Foggy's death definitely sets up Matt's story pretty well, so that's why I don't really have a problem with them killing off Foggy. With Karen, I hope they bring her back. If they don't, then it's very clear they're just doing that to get rid of her so they could bring in a new cast, which to me isn't a great idea, especially when it's a bunch of characters that I don't feel like have that much of a connection to the audience. But we'll just have to wait and see. I do like that they added White Tiger, that they're exploring more of the street level Marvel stuff. I would like to see them kind of further that. Apparently, Jessica Jones will be back in Daredevil Born Again season 2. So who knows? Maybe we could get some Luke Cage, some Iron Fist, maybe some other street level characters as well. I don't know, but I am hopeful for the show. However, the first 2 episodes have just not really piqued my interest all that much. But with all that being said, I do believe, I am glad to see Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox back as Daredevil and Kingpin. Even though they've kind of been back for a while now, I think it's cool to see them back in a sort of project that is more aligned with what their characters are like, in a more like grounded, darker show. I mean, with Kingpin, we had him in like Echo and Hawkeye, but in Hawkeye, he was obviously more cartoonishly portrayed, which to me was fine. I didn't really even have a problem with Kingpin in that show. I didn't really care for Echo. To me, it was a very forgettable project. But like Charlie Cox and No Way Home and in She-Hulk, those were really fun. But I feel like this is definitely where he really fits with his character. Even though I really did have a lot of fun with his She-Hulk appearance, I really, really liked him showing up in that show. But with this particular case, I think he's right back where he belongs, in a very serious like Daredevil setting. And I feel like him and Vincent are really going to carry the rest of the show, the remainder of the show. Even if the quality of like the storytelling and every other factor into it isn't as great. For instance, the action. Now, I really liked the Daredevil Bullseye fight. Even though you really couldn't see it, there was definitely a problem of the visual setting with the fight where it was a little too dark. It was definitely too dark in a lot of cases. I feel like they could have used some brightening it up. But I did like how it was all kind of being told through, like, just the entire fight was being followed through one angle, and the camera was constantly following them. And if it did focus on other characters like Karen, Foggy, or Cherry, it was still, you would see the camera move towards them. It wouldn't just cut away. I did like that aspect of it. I feel like some people will try to downplay that, being like, oh, well, there are VFX there was CGI, shit like that. That's still hard to do in those cases. Like, that's still not easy, even if you have, like, special effects playing there as well. But I really enjoyed that fight. The fight that really makes me worried about the rest of this show, though, is the fight in season 2 when he is fighting against the undercover cops. And just a quick pause right here. I love the factor. I love them playing into the fact that the dirty cops have Punisher tattoos. I think that's a great thing for them to do, especially with Punisher coming back into the show. Hopefully they play with that, with like Punisher being upset that they're using his logo in a way. But when he was fighting like the dirty cops in that one dude's apartment, that fight to me was so dumb. It looked so bad, and I've heard people like hyping it up. No, I can't. I don't understand how anyone could look at that and be like, "Yeah, this fight looked good." You could barely see it, and not in a way with like the first episode fight of like the lighting, the problem with the lighting. I'm talking about how it was cut. Like they don't stay on a single shot for more than a second. Like every single second they cut to another shot, another shot, another shot, another shot. It looks so bad that you can't. I don't know. To me, you could kind of tell what was going on, but Jesus Christ, they couldn't like just keep on a shot for like 1 second. It just looked bad. But I don't know. I had this conversation with a friend, and he liked it, and I was just like, I can't understand how people like this. Like it doesn't allow you to actually focus on the fight. To me, like it was just shot in such a jarring way that God, I can't. It just looked like garbage, and I can't believe people are actually defending it. Overall, again, I think that it just really fits into my problem with the show overall, where I feel like it just needs a lot of tweaking to try to get them back to the feel of the original show, not just in like tone, but also in the fight scene, like in cinematography, like the way that it looks, the way that the action was handled. Like I feel like they really just need to focus on that a lot more. And I remember seeing this tweet from Marcus from Cosmonaut Variety Hour, who essentially laid out, I feel like, a really good point when it comes to the show, which is that episode 1, you kind of get a feel of what this show is going to look like. It has like its own, it feels distinct in my opinion from a lot of the other MCU shows where it wants to go for a darker sort of look. At least again, I feel like this really got set within the first 10 minutes. Like the first 10 minutes of the show, I feel like looks different from the rest of it. And I feel like that's probably why like people don't, I don't know, it just, this show just, I feel like they should have just tried their best. I don't know, maybe they are trying to emulate the Netflix look of the show, but I don't think they're doing it well. And I feel like if they would have just gone for a more cohesive look to it, I don't know. I feel like I'm just rambling on at this point. I feel like there's, at the end of the day, I feel like there's just a bunch of stuff they could tweak about the show to make it better. But until then, I don't think the show is going to be as good as its predecessor. But it's not going to be bad. Like, it's not a bad show. It's just kind of disappointing that it's not to par with what came beforehand. And I think this is just more of a case. If anything, this is more of a fault of them just trying to do their own thing with the show instead of just, doing what the fans want. Like doing what people who liked the Netflix show wanted them to continue. Like you could still tell a good story with Karen involved instead of just like bringing in these characters that like people don't necessarily care for in a sense. Like again, like I don't know, I don't even remember the therapist's name. Kirsten, I think, is supposed to be the name of his new law partner. And then you have Cherry, like, I don't give a fuck about Cherry. Who gives a fuck about Cherry? Like, they could have used that one cop from Daredevil that, like, Foggy was a friend of. Unless, I don't know, maybe something happened to him. I don't know. It's been a while since I've rewatched the Netflix show. I probably should have done that before this new series came out, but I'm already pretty stacked on shows that I need to watch. But I don't know, like they could have done something more in line with the show, like, hey, look, we brought back this character. We, have this new role for Karen. I don't know. I just feel like there's something kind of missing with this show that is going to stop people who watched the original Netflix show, who wanted to see the continuation with Born Again. They're just going to be disappointed. And justifiably so. So I don't know. Again, it needs tweaked. It's not bad, but it's far from perfect, and it's far from accurate to what fans wanted with a continuation to the Netflix Daredevil show. Hello everyone, thank you for watching today's video. If you would like to see more videos like this, please leave a like and subscribe down below. If you'd like to check out my main channel where I mostly talk about politics and more serious issues, you can check me out on my main channel Fruity Soar. Or if you'd like to see me play some video games, you can check out my gaming channel, Fruity Soar Gaming, to see me play through video games. Thank you once again for watching today's video, and I will see you all next time.